Alright, hope everybody's having a great Sunday. Still catching up on videos to post, and this one is no exception. Just watched Chase Briscoe race his way into the playoffs with 2 points to spare. That was absolutely insane. But this video is not about that. This is about some goodwill finds finally, and something which I want to call the autograph process. So let's get into some of the goodwill finds here, and that'll bring us up to the autograph process. So essentially, when I go off to these goodwill bins, as far as you know, sometimes you get there early and you have to wait in line, and that's perfectly fine. But if you know somebody there, you can talk to them, and that takes some of the time away. And then you get in there and there's a mad dash to try to figure out which is the new bins there. And most of the stuff that I'm looking for is not what other people are looking for. But it's amazing following people around. I don't want to say follow people around, but there's some people that just throw back some really good stuff because they're eBayers or YouTubers or what have you, and they want a certain level of things for their stores. And sometimes they throw back things that are not a huge profit margin, but something that would cost you a ton of money in the store, like $20, $30 or whatever in some cases. So one of the earlier things I found was this. It's a little Blockbuster slip DVD that had a name of a movie on there, which I peeled off there. It's still got some sticker residue, that yellow sticker, and some of the... But it'd be kind of cool. You might even be able to think outside the box. Send this off to somebody who is in the movie business. Maybe if you can figure out who the owner of the last Blockbuster is and see if you can get them to autograph this. No idea. But I was going to put in a little plastic slip or something like that and display that somewhere with my movie. So that's really cool. I've never seen this before. I took it out of the DVD case and it weighed like about a cent. So it cost me about a cent, maybe 2 cents for that. So that's why I grabbed that. Then I found... let's see, let's go to this one here. I found some records here, and this one's Lips Inc., or is Lip Sync, some people call it. And this one has Funky Town on it, and it's just a very late 70s, early 80s artwork. Very, very kind of unusual pop art type thing there. That's very, very cool to have that one. And it didn't cost very much. It was $1 something. I want to say $1.29 for records. I just can't remember it. There's a big crease in there. And I think this crease might have happened when stuff was being folded on top of it. But you know what? Still, I didn't look at the album. It's really cool. There was a Cheap Trick album that I wanted, but there was only one vinyl there. And I think somebody threw it back. But once I was done with the vinyl, there was a young kid that, I want to say young kid, probably 20 years younger than me, and basically he grabbed a whole pile of them. He really is pretty good and can see the value in some of these things that other people leave behind. And it's a great way to make a collection at only $1 something a piece. He's really smarter than some of the next guys. There was another record here, which I don't seem to have at the moment. I grabbed the wrong one. But let's get in some more stuff here. So what do we want to do next here? Alright, yes, there was one more record. Oh yes, it's right here. This one is actually autographed, and this is called Rocket Eyes and Murray the Wheel. I don't know who Murray the Wheel Band is or whatever, but it says To Kim, Kick Some, You Know What, and Murray the Wheel. It's a very poorly done autograph there, but and they're still playing to this day. I want to say this is from the early 80s. Oh, this is 1989, so the late 80s. I don't know what this is, and there looks like a stain on the album there. But I just grabbed it because it was an unusual record. Nobody had heard of them. And this is kind of a small press record here. All songs published by Tiger Music. I don't know what the Reflex Records it looks like. Let's just quickly look at the label if we can. See if there's any kind of indication about anything here. Again, I didn't spend a lot of money on this one. Looks like it's really good condition. Maybe a little bit of stain on the label there. So Gala Reflex Records. I looked them up. There's some sort of, kind of a regular house band or something at some place on the East Coast, I think. So there is that one. Now we'll get into a few other things here. And we have these, and one of my friends threw them back because he said there's not a lot of profit margin on them. But why would you leave these? Because somebody said, they're great stocking stuffers. They're great, giveaways if you're doing, YouTube videos or whatnot, so that sort of thing. And I got Mr. Green and Mrs. White from Clue. I don't know if it's Clue the game or Clue the movie, but that's really, really cool. Funko Pops, that's really pretty neat. Pop Retro Toys, that's really, really pretty cool. So Mr. Green with the lead pipe and Mrs. White with the wrench. I don't know how many in the series are there. Don't know if I'm going to get any more. I don't really want to collect a lot of Funko Pops. They display well, and they pack well, so that's very cool because they're all very uniform most of the time. Then I found this, another one of the regulars threw this back, and he said it was just too rough condition, but you know what? This is something that you could display somewhere or just hang it out in the old barn or whatever. And this is Schmidt's Confectionery and Cafe, and there's the art right there. I don't know who the artist is, and this is 1937 January. So that is really pretty cool. And then there's some other calendar days that you rip off there. I don't know how many days that were ripped off there. This is out of Sandy, Oregon, so it's semi-local, you know, probably an hour away or something like that. But that is really cool to have that, and that was by weight. That didn't cost very much. The last thing I wanted to show before I get into the main topic here, Under Armour is a very popular brand. This is a large. It might be a little bit big, but you know what? Take a chance on things. And this was brand new. It's a heat gear or whatever. Keeps you cool. And there's this striped shirt here, brand new with the tags. It says the MSRP was $44.99, and somebody threw it back because it's advertising Georgia Pacific Shipping and Logistics. Well, who really cares? It only cost me probably $2 for that shirt. You know, brand new with the tags on it. I will do that all day long. So the last thing I want to show you is some cards I got here, and these are postcards from my postcard collection. And there's this one right here. Nothing special. It's just, you know, kind of a postcard collection. It says there, just some beach chairs, so if I sent off to a coastal place. Some of these already have stamps on them, and some of them don't. Here's a 13-cent. I found almost $2 worth of these postcards in the previous bin, like the old rotation, and when I was done with them not too long later, that was all gone. And I mean, this is like free money there. Here's another 14-cent one, and you know how many postcards I send out. This one here has an arrow on it, and the reason why this has an arrow and an X on it is because this is going to become a TTM, through the mail autograph request. And it says USPS, United States Postal Service, 1985. And what happened in 1985? Well, I'll show you. So I'm looking at my project for, there's a lot of stuff that I'm looking up here. Let's go, oops, we were right there. We were just right there. So we want to go to here, and I'm looking up Sherry Steinkellner. Okay, well, there's a Bill and Sherry Steinkellner. And Bill and Sherry Steinkellner are still alive. They live in Santa Barbara, California, from what I know. And I looked that up on the computer. I was able to figure out where they live. And because there's not too very many William and Sherry Steinkellner. And what did they do? They were essentially behind-the-scenes people, producers and writers, I think, for Cheers. So Bill Steinkellner started in 1985 for Cheers. So that is how that began. So I found this item for like barely even a cent, maybe even half a cent. It's a 14-cent postcard right there, but more importantly, it's got the 1985 date from my Cheers product. A lot of the behind-the-scenes executive producers or whatever don't always like to sign, but I wrote a very nice letter on some other stationery I picked up at a garage sale with the birds there, because Santa Barbara and all that good stuff there. And so that is really cool, and that's how that became. So essentially, I find an item, and I said, who would be likely to sign that? And then I go to the Internet Movie Database. I looked up Cheers, and I just went to 1985, so I started looking up everybody in 1985. I saw unusual name, and I said, you know, how many of those people are there? I'm going to do my little extra research, you know, go through the forums. So I went to Star Tiger, and they weren't in there. And I go to, you know, Sports Card Forum, and they're not in there, so I have to go to another, you know, more general public address search, and that's probably them. And like I said, I got almost $2 worth of those, so I got 14s, and some of those, there's some 1983 ones from the earlier days of Cheers. Here are some which I've already started putting stamps on. There's another one that only need 20 more cents on there. I should have saved that for my Cheers project, but you know, it just saving me 14 cents, which is always appreciated on every request that I do. For every 14 and 15 cents I have to send out, that's a great savings. And of course, I reuse lots of envelopes, you know, I mean, they're new envelopes, but like this one came with a bill pay type thing. Pay your bills, and if you pay it online, you get a free envelope. Essentially a free envelope. And I just can't let those go to waste. You can put stamps or a sticker over there, or just leave that the way that is. Here's another one which I put a sticker over it. You'll be barely able to see that. And to say again, lots of these things don't start out as autograph requests, but eventually they can be. Some of these postcards, you know, here's another postcard I picked up here. Hello Earthling, we are from the planet Greet, and he says greetings. It's just a cheesy Garfield postcard. But again, that's going to become a request off to California, and that saved me from having to go to the eBay and buy one for $1 plus $1 shipping. And again, that saves me another $1. And that extra $1 that I've saved is going to become maybe money for a future autograph request or something else. If you've got $10 in your pocket or whatever and can make it to a particular store and you choose to buy something. Now there's one or two other things I'm going to show here very, very quickly because I'm out of time here. I found these weird, I think they're Japanese cards, don't quote me on that. These, I didn't save very many of them, but I saved the ones with the people on it. I thought maybe those would go in care packages or something. This could go to like the artist formerly known as Zombie Collector. I'm not really sure what that's all about. Can't read any of that. If anybody knows what that says, there you go. And there's another one. I don't know, it looks like game show hosts or something like that. But they were all spilled out in the bins, and I just grabbed those that cost very nothing. And two more things here. These are cassettes here. And what we have here is Classic Yes. I looked it up. There's somebody that wants $7 for it. The prices are all over these places. And this is Classic Yes. And the cool thing about it is brand new factory sealed. One of my friends decided to look it up in the store, and he didn't find much. And he saw one that looked like said it was listed as brand new factory sealed, and it wasn't. But this one is. When was the last time you ever found a brand new factory sealed cassette? Not very often. So there is that one. And the last one I have here is not valuable at all. It's a Christmas album. It's Michael Martin Murphey. Some of you guys might know who that is. That's a country music artist. But it says, "To Jim, Merry Christmas, Michael Martin Murphey." So that is a autograph, and yet another autograph. I've been finding the autographs. Autographs you can find everywhere. Several people have told me they've never found autograph books. All you have to do is go to a shelf in a store, provided they don't look very carefully, and you just go to and you just look at all the books. You may not find one in the first store or the second store. People were telling me they couldn't find autographs. They found autographs all the time at Dollar Tree, and I finally found one a couple months ago. It's like, oh wow, an autograph. It wasn't anybody special, but it was just kind of fun to find that, and yes, I did buy that. But anyway, so that is my pickups for the day. I didn't spend too much money. It was $10 and a few cents over that, and it really wasn't $10 because some of the savings right there was more like $8. So that was really fun. 12.5 minutes. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know how you go about finding people for autographs, and thank you for watching.